In the last video we worked through some unit conversions, but we kept things pretty basic. This time we're going to try and look at some more complicated cases. Not every unit is a linear conversion. What I mean by that is that if I started with a number in square meters and I wanted to convert to square centimeters, it's not as simple as multiplying by 100. So maybe I want to look at a picture. This is a meter. If I have another one of these and I put it vertically, then I can have a square meter. And there we go. So that's a meter by a meter, that gives me a square meter. The amount of space that takes up is right here. It's a lot of space. This is a square centimeter. It's going to be 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. It's pretty small. If I want to make more than one of these, I can put a second one next to it. And so on. I can keep filling out this bottom line, and if I keep filling these out all the way to the end of the line, I will end up with 100 of them. So it takes 100 of those to fill out one row, but now I've got just one row. This whole block that I've made is 1 centimeter tall. I can take that row and I can make another row above it. Make a whole other row. It's going to take another 100 blocks, and now I've got 2 rows, so 2 centimeters of height. If I want the entire height, I'll need to make 100 rows, each with 100 pieces in it, so I'll need 10,000 square centimeters. So how do I get the math to do this? I'm going to get rid of this. The math looks like this. If I have maybe half of a square meter to work with, I have this conversion factor that I've worked with before, and it says that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to say half a square meter times, and I want a conversion factor that's got meters on the bottom and centimeters on the top. Here is that conversion factor. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So that's fine. But I have square meters here and regular meters here, and that just won't do. If I'm trying to get rid of square meters, I need square meters on the bottom. So one way I can accomplish that is just to apply this conversion factor a second time. When I do this, I'm effectively saying 0.5 square meters times 100 centimeters over 1 meter times 100 centimeters over 1 meter. And some people really do prefer to just write the conversion factor out twice. I'm not one of those people, but maybe you are. I've got one of my meters cancels, another of my meters cancels, and I'm left in centimeters times centimeters. That is centimeters squared. I get 0.5 times 100 times 100 is 5,000. And I have an answer, 5,000 square centimeters. Another example. Maybe I have a quarter of a cubic meter. And I want to know how many gallons do I have. Now I'm going to need some more conversion factors, and I know this one. I know my 1 meter is 100 centimeters. I have this 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter. That's kind of a really convenient conversion factor that gets me from units that are in cubic whatever into units of just kind of pure volume on their own. So that's a good one to just know. I also know 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters, because that's how the metric system works. I happen to know 1 liter is 1.057 quarts, and I know 1 gallon is 4 quarts. Now, it doesn't have to be the case that it's all ones over here. This is just the way that I happen to know these conversion factors. So don't worry about that too much. But let's get started with this. Here is what I am looking to do, and these are the tools that I've got to work with. I've got a quarter of a cubic meter. I would like to get rid of meters. I see this top one. This top conversion factor has meters, so that's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to say 1 meter is 100 centimeters. But I need cubic meters, so I'm going to take this whole conversion factor and cube it. That's going to get rid of cubic meters here, and I'm left in cubic centimeters right now. Centimeters cubed. So my next one, I would like to get rid of cubic centimeters. I've used this conversion factor, and I'm going to use this one. I've got cubic centimeters on the bottom. Those will cancel, and that'll be lovely. 1 cubic centimeter is 1 milliliter. I don't need to cube the whole thing or anything like that because this thing already has cubic centimeters on the bottom. So I've used this conversion factor. I am now at this point, if I stopped my problem, in milliliters. I would like to get rid of milliliters, so I'm sticking milliliters on the bottom, and I have this factor that says 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. Milliliters cancel with milliliters. I'm now in liters, and I've used this factor. I'm going to get rid of liters, so I want liters on the bottom. 1 liter is 1.057 quarts. Liters cancel with liters. I am left in quarts. Keep going because I'm trying to get to gallons. I'm not there yet, but I'm about to be. I'm going to put quarts on the bottom of my fraction. When I do, I've got 4 quarts on the bottom. I've got 1 gallon on the top. Quarts and quarts can cancel. I'm left with an answer in gallons. That is what I'm looking for. So at this point, I am done. I do have to punch in the numbers, but I'm done with my conversion factors. I've used this one too. I might not use all the conversion factors that are given, but sometimes I will. I don't know. It's unlikely that I'm ever going to go back and use one again later, so it's a pretty safe thing to just be crossing them off as you go. It narrows down the list of what you've got. The challenge with it, if I don't cross these off and I start doing this and I go right meters, cubic meters to cubic centimeters to milliliters, and I haven't crossed these off, then on my next step where I'm trying to get rid of milliliters, I might be looking at my list and say, oh hey, here's one. And then I'm working back into cubic centimeters, and all of my progress, I'm just kind of stepping it back, and I don't want that. So by crossing these off as I go, I kind of save myself that trouble. So now I do the math. I multiply 0.25 times 100 cubed times 1 times 1 times 1.057 times 1 divided by 1 cubed divided by 1 divided by 1,000 divided by 1 divided by 4, and I get 66.1 gallons for a final answer. And that's it. It's the same process as I used before. It's just I might have conversion factors that get squared or cubed along the way. And when I do, when I'm punching this in, I'm going to end up punching in 0.25 times 100 cubed divided by 1 cubed. Probably not going to punch that in because dividing by 1 times 1 divided by 1. So this was my first conversion factor. Second conversion factor times 1 divided by 1,000. That's my third. And so on, right? Times 1.057 over 1 times 1 over 4. And then I get to my answer. That's all I'm doing.